Tyler Tichelaar is a student at the Gwynn Middle School and this past summer wrote a piece in the Youth Enrichment class held at NMU called The Ghost of Stonegate Woods. With the help of the NMU Theater Department, we decided to make his story into video to bring to life the imagination of Tyler Tichelaar.
The Ghost of Stonegate Woods by Tyler Tichelaar. Tyler, will you go get me some milk from the store? Asked my mom. Do I have to? It's such a long way. A mile isn't very long. Now hurry up before it gets dark. Annoyed, I set off for the store on foot with a jacket, boots, gloves, and a hat, even though it was 37 degrees, quite warm for the 24th of December. I went down our driveway and started looking at the houses as I walked down the hill. Everything's so pretty with the snow, I said. Of course, it had been beautiful before the snow came. The grass was always a lovely green, the houses were nice houses, and gaily colored in greens, blues, oranges, and reds. As a matter of fact, the neighborhood was so lovely that a few years before, it had been on the 6 o'clock evening news because of its beauty. The people were nice and friendly. Once when there had been a fire, everybody in the neighborhood had come to help put it out, because if something threatened one of us, it threatened us all. We all worked together in brotherly love to solve whatever problem was threatening us. When I reached the bottom of the hill, I turned to the left and headed along the highway towards the store. I passed the first entrance of Ridge Road. Boredom City, I thought as I trudged through the snow. I heard a rumbling noise behind me. It was Mike on his snowmobile. It slowed down as he came closer and finally came to a stop. Need a lift, he asked. Sure, I have to get some milk at the store. You'd think my mother was incapable of driving a car. I got on and off we went over the cold white snow. When we got to the store, Mike and I got off and we went in. Oh no, said Mike. I'm sorry, but I can't give you a ride back. I'm late for supper. And with that, he roared away. Gee, some friend. Can't even wait a minute, I grumbled as I walked up to the car. Wait, what am I complaining about? I got a free ride here, didn't I? I went up to the counter, paid for the milk, and started for home. As I got outside, I noticed that it had started snowing really hard. Good, I said. Maybe school will be canceled. A minute later, though, I started getting cold and looked back at the store, wishing I was in it. It must be nice and warm inside those nice brown brick walls. How much I'd like to have a cup of hot chocolate right now. After a while, the temperature started to really drop, and it kept on snowing harder and harder. The winds were getting stronger, and it was getting dark and cold. I walked by the Walker's Furniture Store since 1880, and then started up the entrance of Elk Ridge, planning to take the shortcut through the churchyard and into Ridge Road. I reached the churchyard and started through. By this time it was getting dark out, and I got scared looking at all the old gravestones. But my legs were getting tired and I had to sit down. I didn't want to, but I didn't have any choice because I was so exhausted. So I sat down on one of the old gravestones. I started to get an eerie spine-tickling feeling going up my back. I got up and looked at the gravestone I was sitting on. The gravestone said, "Here lies the doll of Annabelle Stonegate who disappeared. Rest in peace. May 8th, 1797 through December 24th, 1809. Oh, I sat on the ghost's gravestone. I ran out of the graveyard, scared by the old legend. I started to walk along the road and past the old Stonegate mansion. Then I walked off the road and onto the trail that led back to the Stonegate wood. As I walked through the wood, I heard a loud crack above me and got hard hit on the head. Ouch, I cried. Then everything went black. The last thing I remember was the snow swirling before my eyes. Mom? Dad? I said as I opened my eyes. What happened? Then my mom relayed to me the following. Your dad and I started to worry about you. We called your friends and Mike said he gave you a ride to the store. We went to the store and on the way we looked along the road for you. We started going back in case you had gone back home. We saw your tracks going up Oak Ridge through the woods, but it snowed so hard we couldn't see them anymore. Then a girl around your age came out of the woods. She was wearing an old-fashioned pink dress and had a doll in her arms. We wondered what she was doing on this weather. We tried to stop her, but she ran into the woods. We followed her, and she led us to your body, half covered in the snow. I turned around to thank her, but she had disappeared. We yelled for her, but she never answered. We just don't know what happened to her. My mother had a puzzled look. Mom, it's the ghost of Stonegate Woods. What? There's an old legend that back in 1809, a group of settlers came to live in the UP. One of the families was named Stonegate. The families had a dispute, and instead of living together, they settled miles from each other. The Stonegates had a little girl named Annabelle. Annabelle was an only child, and her only friends were the Ridge's two daughters, Virginia and Georgiana. who lived almost 2 miles away. On December 24th, 1809, Christmas Eve, she went to the Ridges' house to visit and bring them their Christmas presents. When she got there, she stayed for a while to play dolls. When it started to get dark, she got her wraps on and started to head for home. On her way home, she dropped one of her gloves. An Indian found it and tried to catch her and give it back to her, but she got scared and ran to the woods. That was the last time she was seen alive. The next day, her doll was found in the snow with a large white feather on it. People believed that an angel carried her to heaven. Her doll was buried because it had been the most favorite thing she had ever owned. I had a sore head, but that was it, and I was up in a day. There was only one problem. When my mom saw her, she had her doll, but the doll was buried, so how did Annabelle get it? The next week, I got a phone call from Mike. Hi, are you feeling any better? Yeah, I'm fine. Did you hear it? They found Annabelle Stonegate's grave open? Her coffin was open and her doll was gone. But there was a note in the coffin that said this: every 7 years I returned, 19 times, and on those trips I had the honor of helping people who were in danger of dying in snowstorms. On my last trip I found my doll, and now will rest in peace. But I have gotten used to helping people, and will always watch from the window of my cloud castle, and will help anyone in trouble again. Annabella Stonegate, and Mary, my doll. Now, 60 years later, my grandchildren sit around my chair. When they come to visit, they always want me to tell them the story of the ghost of Stonegate Woods. Someday, maybe they'll tell their children about it. Who knows, maybe one of them will even see her. Well, you've listened long enough to an old man's tall tale. It's getting about time I go and see my old friend Annabelle. Annabelle, Annabelle, cried the 13-year-old boy running through the streets of heaven. Tyler, oh, thank you for helping me find my doll. Thank you, said Tyler, for saving my life.
My goodness, Tyler, you do have a gift. Hopefully you'll continue writing stories like The Ghost of Stonegate Woods. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.